no? Pag magpapa-vaccinate na kayo. Again, vaccination works, no? Okay. So anyway, let's begin our discussion with electrochemistry. So again, chapter 4 talaga to, pero ginawa ko siyang chapter 3 para magkasunod sila ng thermodynamics. And there's a reason for that. Okay. So this will be the chapter outline, no? So only for this day, discuss natin up to the third bullet lang. So we will have an overview of Electrochem. Ano ba talaga to? Saan ko to gagamitin? Ano na naman tong ituturo ni Sir? Ayan. So sabihin natin yan dito sa first slide na. And then after that, we will understand the oxidation numbers because this is a very vital idea sa Electrochem. No? So yan. And then after that, we will try to balance redox reaction. Okay? So yan, so kapit lang, medyo marami tayong i-discuss, kahit 3 bullets lang yan. No? Medyo maraming ideas involved dito. Okay? So let's begin with electrochem. What is electrochem? Electrochemistry is defined as a branch of chemistry which involves the interconversion of electrical and chemical energy. Okay? So isip kayo ng bagay sa bahay nyo na gumagamit ng electrochem. Sige. Ano sa tingin niyo yung mga gamit sa bahay na may electrochem concept? Anyone? Dali, isip kayo ng mga bagay sa bahay na may electrochem. Kasi from the definition itself, sabi niyan, electrical and chemical energy. So, ano kaya yung
Battery
mga...
po, sir.
Ayun, battery,
Battery
no?
po.
Yan, so yan. Battery. Yan ay isang malaking produkto ng electrochem, no? And imagine our life today without batteries, no? Kasi ang tao ngayon, no, especially ngayong online class, tayo ay very dependent sa battery. Kasi paano gagana cellphone mo kung wala kang battery, di ba? Ano ba meron sa battery? Inside that, may mga chemicals lang na nakalagay. Okay? May mga liquid, may mga solid doon na nakalagay, no? And then, pag ginamit mo yun, nagiging kuryente siya, no? Pag sinaksak mo yun sa power source, mare-recharge siya. Okay? So yun yung i-discuss natin today. The process in which magdi-discharge yung ating chemicals to produce to produce electricity, and then how to reverse that, no, sa charging naman, no. Okay. So yun yung i-discuss natin for the rest of the chapter 3, no. Okay, kasi important to. Kasi we are heavily reliant na sa battery. Even cars are powered by batteries nowadays, no? Or if you have a Tesla car, no? Or if you have a hybrid cars, no? Ayun. Siyempre, wala tayong ganun sa Pilipinas. Mahal kuryente dito, eh. Pero yun, so, di-discuss natin yun today, yung konsepto ng batteries, no? And actually, hindi lang siya sa batteries, no? Okay, maraming mga ginagamit sa bahay and even in the laboratories that makes use of electrochem. Okay? So, ito yung example ng battery. Actually, pwede ka gumawa ng baterya out of barya. Okay? Magpatong-patong ka lang ng barya, ipoproduce yan ng kuryente. And siguro familiar din kayo sa mga experiments nung high school, yung copper pati zinc metal itusok mo sa lemon, magpo-produce ng kuryente yon. Yes, totoo yon. Kasi nga, electrochem yon. Okay? Ayan. So, you may want to try that at home. Kuha kayo ng lemon o kaya patatas, no? Tusok nyo sa kanila yung zinc and copper metal, magpo-produce yun ng kuryente. And that can actually power LED light, no? So, yan. Electrochem yung concept niya. Other than that, itong PowerPoint ko kasi na ito ay pang medtech kaya may ganitong instrument, no? Anyway, so ito naman, this is a glucometer, no? So saan ginagamit yung glucometer? To test the glucose levels in the blood. Okay? For example, if you have a diabetic na relative, no? They are familiar with this one. Ako wala akong diabetes pero meron ako niyan dito sa taas, no? Ganito yung itsura niyan. So you have your instrument here. This is the glucometer. And then you have the test strip, no? Itong test strip na to, para yung circuit, no? Daming electrical wiring dyan. Tutusok mo siya dyan para mag-supply to ng kuryente dito. Then yung inyong blood, no, magpiprick ka ng blood mo, tutusukin mo yan ng lancet, no. Tapos pag tumulo na yung dugo, dun mo ilalagay siya sa maliit na butas doon. Then, pag nilagay mo yung dugo mo doon, after 5 seconds, lalabas na yung glucose levels mo. Okay? So, sabihin niya, kunwari 100 milligram per deciliter. No? So, yan, lalabas yun doon. Okay? So, yan. So, ano yung concept dito? Ang nangyayari naman dito sa mga glucose meter is ganito. Di ba, may blood ka, ilalagay mo doon. No? Yung blood natin kasi, it is somehow considered conductive, no? Medyo conductive siya because it contains ions, no? So it contains potassium, sodium, chloride, no? And other ions, no? And then what happens there is that yung kuryente na isusupply nito, 'di ba, tatagos yan sa sample mo, sa blood. After nun, pagkalabas sa blood, magbabago yung voltage difference. Magbabago yung voltage niya. Kunwari, magsusupply siya ng 5 volts. Paglabas, 2 volts na lang. Okay? So, by determining the difference in the voltage after the electricity passes through the blood, i-compare niya lang yung voltage, malalaman na niya yung concentration ng glucose mo. Okay? So, yun, i-discuss din natin yung paano nangyayari yun, no? Paano nangyayari yung difference ng voltage magiging concentration measurement, no? And another example of that is the pH meter. Siguro familiar yung iba dito, no? Especially kung di kayo sa PUP nag-senior high. Sa walang lab sa PUP senior high. Okay. Pero this is a pH meter. Ito yung itsura niyan, you have this device connected yan sa electrical wiring dito sa probe. Then itong probe, ilulublob mo yan sa solution. Then ano ginagawa dyan? Lublob mo lang yan, after a few seconds, lalabas na yung pH reading. And we know that pH is related to the concentration of hydrogen. No? Ito yung nasa prob set 2 nyo. No? Yung pH doon. May kinalaman yun sa concentration ng H. No? So anyway, so yun na nga, you have your pH, concentration, malalaman niyo yung concentration ng hydrogen sa solution due to, potential differences, no? Compare niya yung voltage na sinupply niya and yung voltage na na-receive niya. So ganun lang. De-determine niya lang yung changes sa voltage, then malalaman na niya yung concentration. Okay? So yun yung wide application ng Electrochem. Hindi lang siya about batteries, no. Ginagamit din ito to measure the concentration of ions, no. Ano lang gagawin? I-compare mo lang yung voltage, no, before and after it passes through the solution. By comparing the voltage, then you can get the concentration using an appropriate equation, which we will discuss next week. Okay? So yun yung Electrochem na. Hindi lang siya about batteries. Pang measurement din siya. Okay? So, but before we start with the actual measurement ng voltage, punta muna tayo sa basic concept, the underlying concept ng Electrochem. Ano ba nangyayari sa Electrochem na? So basically, what happens in Electrochem is that there is a transfer of electron. No? Yung electron, transfer lang yan. No? So from one electrode to the other electrode. And as electrons flow, there is an electricity. Okay? Remember, ang electricity ay flow lang yan ng electron. Okay? So ganun yung nangyayari. So when electrons passes from one electrode to the other, from anode to the cathode, yun, may voltage ka na doon. Okay? So we will discuss that in the future. Pero for now, bakit nga ba may electron na natatransfer? Okay. It has something to do with their oxidation numbers. Okay. Ang oxidation number kasi ng atom ay nagbabago during redox reaction. So as it changes, there is an electron transfer that happens. No? Okay. So ito yung primary concept ng Electrochem. Yung atom, nagbabago yung oxidation number, and as a result, may electron na lumalabas o kaya may electron na pumapasok sa kanya. Okay? So ano ba yung oxidation number? Yung oxidation number, this is somehow similar with your formal charge. No? Do you still remember formal charges last semester? Yun yung tanong. Siguro hindi na, no? Pero kunwari, I gave you a molecule. Kunwari, you have this molecule. Di ba, pag naglo-Lewis structure tayo, familiar tayo with the formal charge, no? Okay. So, we are familiar with the formal charge. Binuksan ng pusa ko yung ilaw. Masyadong maliwanag. Wait lang. Ayan. So, familiar tayo sa formal charge dapat, no? Kasi naturo yan last sem. So, ano ginagawa doon? Equation natin dyan ay should minus have, di ba? Should minus have. Okay? So, ang sinasabi ko sa students ko, yung bond, putulin mo yan. Gawin mong box yan. Okay. Ibabox mo yung mga bonds sa atom. Ayan. So, ito yung ginagawa namin last sem. Then, yung line, di ba, dalawang electron katumbas niyan. So, since naglagay ka ng boundary between them, mapuputol yung bond. Ibig sabihin, yung electron, mahati siya. Okay? So, hindi ko alam kung ano yung approach sa inyo, pero ganito yung approach ko. Okay? So, yan, you cut the bonds, then you count the have electrons. No? Ilan yung electrons na nakapalibot sa atom sa loob ng box. So, ganun ginagawa namin dyan. So, for example, sa carbon, ilang dots or ilang electrons meron sa palibot niya? 4, no? So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ang should, ito yung valence electron. Okay, so valence electron, yung group number yon, di ba? Okay. So, 4 yung valence electron niyan kasi nasa group 4 yung carbon. Okay, so 4 minus 4 is 0. So, ibig sabihin, wala tong formal charge. Ito din, walang formal charge, no? And if our molecule doesn't have any formal charges, then yun yung stable version. Okay? Yun yung stable Lewis structure. So, ano naman kapag kapag oxidation number? Medyo similar lang din, no? Ang pinagkaiba lang is ganito. Okay. We still have this, no? So, ito yung difference naman kapag oxidation number. By the way, di tayo magdo-drawing ng molecules mamaya, no? Binibigyan ko lang kayo ng idea kung ano ba yung mangyayari. Okay? So, ayan, medyo similar siya with the formal charge. However, this time, ganito. Diba kanina, pinuputol natin yung bond sa gitna so that yung electrons mas split into 2. Yung isa mapupunta sa isang atom, yung isa mapupunta to the other atom. But this time, yung electrons natin, mapupunta siya sa more electronegative atom. Okay? Carbon and hydrogen, sino mas electronegative dyan? Remember your periodic table trends, no? So, ang mas electronegative dyan ay carbon. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng electron mapupunta kay carbon. So, yung box natin, sakop lahat ng bonds. Okay? Yan. Then, dun mo malalaman oxidation number, no? So, oxidation number, oxide number. Parang should minus have lang din to. Should minus have. Ang difference lang is kung sino yung mas electronegative na atom, siya yung kukuha ng lahat ng electron. O should, for carbon is 4 valence electrons niyan. Ilan yung meron na siya? Have. O, meron siyang 8. So, the oxidation number of carbon here is -4. And then for hydrogen, ang should niyan ay 1 kasi group 1 siya and have walang electron na natira sa kanya. So, yan ay +1. Okay? So, ganito yung concept lang sa oxidation number. Instead of cutting the bond in between, we transfer all the electrons to the more electronegative atom. So, kumbaga, we can define oxidation number as this. Oxidation number is the charge of an atom if electrons around it were completely transferred rather than shared. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi ko dito sa drawing na to. Instead na putulin mo yung bond, no? Kasi shared siya. Yung gagawin mo, yung lahat ng bond, yung lahat ng electrons doon, ita-transfer mo sa more electronegative atom. Okay? So, ganun yung idea ng oxidation number. However, to make things easier, para hindi na tayo magganito, we will just follow the rules na lang. Okay? So, instead of doing this for all the molecules we have sa chemistry, wag mo na gawin to kasi nakakapagod to. We can use this na lang. We can use this rule para magabayan tayo kung ano ba yung oxidation numbers ng atoms. Okay? So again, di na tayo magdo-drawing. All we have to do is to follow the rules. Okay? Pero ayan, hopefully nakita nyo yung difference ng formal charge and oxidation number. Okay? So now, alamin natin yung rules para mas madali ang buhay. Para hindi na natin gawin tong mga to. Okay? So delete ko na yan. So ano yung mga rules in determining or assigning the oxidation number of the atom? Rule number 1. For an atom in its elemental form, oxidation number is 0. Pag may nakita kayong ON, ibig sabihin nun oxidation number. Okay? So kapag ang atom daw ay nasa elemental form, ang oxidation number nun ay 0. Ano ba yung elemental form? No? So when we say elemental form, this is the form of the atom that yun yung form ng atom kapag siya ay nag-exist lang. Yun na yung natural form niya. Siguro you can recall the delta HF formation. May mga delta H formation tayo na 0. Yun yung mga elemental form na sinasabi ko. Okay? So, hindi na bago tong idea na to ha. Kasi nakwentuhan na natin yan sa last topic natin. Okay? So, ano yung mga elemental form? Yun yung mga compounds with delta HF equal 0. Okay? So, ano yung mga yan? Pwede kayo tumingin sa thermodynamic table para malaman nyo kung sino yung mga elemental form. Okay? Zoom in tayo. For example, you have a metal. 0 yung delta HF niya. So, ibig sabihin, this is elemental form. You have aluminum solid. That is elemental form. Arsenic solid, elemental form yan. Boron solid, barium solid, no? Beryllium and carbon, graphite, 0. So kapag 0 ang delta HF, that is elemental form. Okay? Pero hindi mo na kailangan tumingin sa table na to. Okay? Although you can, no? Just to verify. Tandaan mo na lang na kapag elemental form for metals, usually ano lang siya, written as the formula itself. Kapag metal, kung ano yung kanyang element symbol, yun yung nakalagay. Kunwari, aluminum, ano yung elemental form ng aluminum? Edi Al lang, tas solid. Kunwari, copper, ano yung elemental form niya? Cu lang, tas solid. Okay. Kunwari, iron, ano elemental form niyan? Fe lang, solid. Okay. So kapag metal, pag sinabing elemental form, ayan lang. You just copy the formula and then lagyan mo lang ng solid. Elemental form 'yan. Okay? So paano naman kapag non-metals? Ano yung elemental form ng non-metals, no? Okay? So usually, non-metals are diatomic in its elemental state. No? Meaning ng diatomic, dalawang atom sa isang molecule. For example, hydrogen gas is a non-metal. So you write it as H2. Okay? Yan, non-metal siya eh. So, edi yan yung kanyang elemental form, diatomic. Okay? Take note of that. No? Kapag non-metal, diatomic yung kanilang elemental form. Pag metals, kung ano lang yung formula nila, yun lang yun. Okay? Ilagay mo lang solid. Yan. This is an example of non-metal na elemental. Okay? So that is diatomic hydrogen. And then, kunwari, nitrogen gas. Ayan. Ay, but solid. Gas dapat. They exist as gas. Okay? Nitrogen gas. Oxygen gas. Ano pa? Fluorine gas. Chlorine gas. Ayan. Bromine, liquid. No? And iodine, solid. Ayan. So, yan yung mga elemental form. Again, kapag metals, iisa lang yung atom, yun na yung elemental form niya. Pag non-metal, diatomic. Okay? So, yan. Diatomic pag non-metal. Yun na yung elemental form. So, kunwari, ano yung oxidation number neto? Oh, wait lang. Ano oxidation number neto? Yan ay 0. Okay, 0 yung oxidation number niyan kasi yan ay metal lang, no? Monoatomic metal. Okay? Kunwari, tanungin ko kayo, ano ang oxidation number nito? 0 lang din yan. Okay? So, 0 yung oxidation number ng oxygen dito kasi nga, diatomic siya. Okay? So, yan yung elemental state niya. Okay? So, take note of that. No? Let's move on to the second rule. Ano sabi sa second rule? For monoatomic ion, the oxidation number is the ion charge. No? Okay? Ang oxidation number daw ng isang ion ay yung charge niya mismo. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, kunwari, you have Al3+. Ano yung oxidation number niya? The oxidation number will be positive 3. Bakit? Kasi ang aluminum 3+ ay monoatomic ion. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng monoatomic? Mono, ibig sabihin isang atom. Okay? So, ion siya na isang atom lang. Okay? So, yeah, yan. You have aluminum 3+. Okay. So, kung ano yung charge niya, which is 3+, yun yung oxidation number niya. Okay? So, kunwari, we have chloride ion. What's the oxidation number of chloride ion? That's, ano? Kayo naman. Ano charge? Ano oxidation number nito? Cl-. Obvious naman. Tignan mo lang yung charge. -1. Kung ano yung charge, yun yung oxidation number. Ito isa pa. Ano oxidation number niyan? Wala ata. Okay, so anyway, ako na lang. So, positive 3 yan, okay? Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung charge ng atom mo na monoatomic, yun yung oxidation number niya. Okay? Kunwari, we have, beryllium 2+. Ano oxidation number niyan? E di kung ano yung charge. Oxidation number is positive 2. This rule will hold kapag monoatomic yan. Okay? Monoatomic ion. Okay? What if ganito? Ano yung oxidation number nila? Okay. Kunwari, you have a molecule na. Ito, molecule na to. Hindi na to monoatomic ion, di ba? Kasi sabi natin, kapag monoatomic ion, iisa lang yung atom. Pero ito, ilang atoms meron sa formula? 4. You have a Cl and 3 oxygen. So, 4, no? So, ano mangyayari? So, 4 yan. E di hindi nagagana yung rule number 2 natin. So, dun tayo sa rule number 3 ngayon. Okay? So, since this is no longer a monoatomic ion, this is a polyatomic ion, sabi sa rule number 3, the sum of the oxidation numbers of the atom in molecules is equal to 0. The sum of oxidation number of atoms in a polyatomic ion equals to the ion charge. Ano meaning nun? Ganito lang. Ang kwento lang dito ng rule number 3 is ganito. Pag pinag-add mo daw yung oxidation number ng Cl, pati ng 3 oxygen, equal yon sa charge ng molecule. Okay? Ibig sabihin, ipag-add mo yung oxidation number nito, tapos ito, 3 oxygen. Pag pinag-add mo yung lahat, equal yon sa ito, sa charge ng molecule. Okay? Ibig sabihin, may formula tayo dyan, no? So, the charge of the molecule equal yan sa, for this compound, oxidation number of Cl plus the oxidation number of oxygen. Okay? But since may 3 oxygen tayo, ito times 3 mo yan. Okay? So, yun yung idea. Ito yun yung sinasabi ng rule number 3. If you have a molecule Pag pinag-add mo yung individual oxidation numbers nila, equal yun sa charge ng molecule. Okay? So kung ano yung oxidation number ni Cl, ano yung oxidation number ni oxygen, pag pinag-add mo yung lahat, yun yung charge ng molecule. Okay? So ngayon, ito yung problema. Ang alam lang natin is elemental form and monoatomic ion. Paano na to, sir? Dalawa na yung nawawala. Hindi ko alam yung oxidation number ng Cl, hindi ko alam oxidation number ng oxygen. So, ano gagawin ko? Pag ganyan, ito yung nasa baba. Susundin natin itong nasa baba na rules. Ang daming rules, no? Ganun talaga. Okay. So, yan. Basahin natin yung mga rules sa baba. This only applies for rule number 3. Okay? So, pang rule number 3 itong mga nasa baba. Okay? So, ano sabi dito? For group 1A, ano yung group 1A? Yun yung lithium, sodium, potassium, so on and so forth. Ang oxidation number nila ay positive 1. For group 2A, yun yung yun yung beryllium, magnesium, calcium, so on and so forth. Positive 2 charge nila. For hydrogen, dalawa yung rule. Kapag non-metal yung kasama niya, positive 1 daw siya. Pag metal yung kasama niya, negative 1 siya. Okay? Mamaya magbibigay ako ng maraming example para mas magamit natin itong mga to. For fluorine, always negative 1 yan. For oxygen, negative 1 siya kapag peroxide. Negative 2 kapag all other compound. Okay? Yung kasama niya. Okay? Mamaya, pag-isipan natin itong maigi. For group 7A, negative 1 yan. Ano yung group 7A? Yun yung fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, so on and so forth. Okay? So, negative 1 sila, except with oxygen. No? Kapag kasama nila oxygen, hindi siya negative 1. Okay? So, yun lang yung sinasabi niya. Negative 1 siya, basta kasama niya ibang mga atoms, except oxygen. Okay? Except oxygen. With all this in mind, punta tayo ulit dito. ClO3. With these rules sa gilid natin, alamin natin yung oxidation number ng Cl and ng oxygen. Yung oxygen, madali lang. Kasi ano sabi dito? Oxygen is negative 2 in all other compounds. Ano ba yung peroxide? No? Ang peroxide ay, ganito yung formula niyan, H2O2. Yan, peroxide yan. Okay. So, yan yung peroxide. Kailangan 2 yung subscript ng oxygen. No? Not necessarily 2. No? Okay. Yan. Pero, ganyan yung itsura ng peroxide. Hindi naman to peroxide, no? So, hindi, obviously, ito yung gagana dyan. Okay? Kasi hindi yan peroxide. So, we will apply this rule dito sa oxygen. So, yun yung sabi dito sa table. Oxidation number is negative 2 in all other compounds, no? Ang compound na to ay hindi peroxide, di naman yan H2O2, kaya okay lang. Okay? So, we will use negative 2 for oxygen. Ang tanong, paano si Cl? Group 7 to. So, tingin tayo dito sa table. Ano sabi kapag group 7? Negative 1 daw yan in combination with metal, non-metal, except oxygen. Sino ba kasama niya? Oxygen. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya negative 1 kasi exception yun dito eh. Sabi dito, negative 1 yan, maliban na lang kung kasama niya oxygen. Kasama niya oxygen. Ibig sabihin, this is unknown. Okay? So, hindi natin alam yung oxidation number ni Cl. Kasi oxygen kasama niya eh. Sinabi sa rule yun eh. Except oxygen. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, hahanapin natin tong Cl. Okay? Hanapin natin yung sa Cl. Ano yung charge ng molecule? Ang charge ng molecule ay negative 1. Okay? Usually, yung charge ng molecule, yun yung nasa exponent, no? Negative 1 yan. Okay, so with this equation, we can actually solve for the oxidation number of Cl. Okay, madali lang yan. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Transpose mo yan, then you will have 6 minus 1 or 5. So that means the oxidation number of Cl is positive 5 and the oxidation number of oxygen is negative 2. Okay? So pag pinag-add mo yan, 5 plus 3 times negative 2 which is negative 6. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Yun yung charge ng molecule. Okay? So by using simple algebra, you can determine the oxidation number of other atoms in your compound. Okay? Kuha pa tayo ng iba pang example para mas maging clear. Okay, so siguro sa ngayon blurry pa siya, pero hopefully as we progress today, no, mas maging clear. Okay. Kasi hindi ko alam kung na-discuss to sa Gen Chem kasi, no. Hindi ko alam kung naturo ko rin to sa students ko. Pero yun. Anyway, magbibigay pa ako ng ibang compound. Okay. Kunwari, we have so we have nitric acid HNO3. Identify the oxidation numbers of the atoms. Hanapin mo oxidation number ni hydrogen, ni nitrogen, pati ni oxygen. Okay? So, tignan natin yung tatlong rules. Is this elemental form? Obviously not, no? Dito elemental form. Kasi ano sabi natin kapag elemental form? Iisa lang yung atom na nandun. Okay? Ano to ang dami. May hydrogen ka, may nitrogen, may oxygen. Okay, so that doesn't count, no? So hindi siya pwede sa rule number 1 kasi hindi yan elemental form. Monoatomic ion ba yan? Hindi. Kasi pag sinabing monoatomic, isa lang dapat yung atom. Pero ito, ang daming atoms. So hindi gagana yung rule number 2. So dito tayo sa rule number 3. Okay? Sabi sa rule number 3, pag pinag-add mo yung mga oxidation numbers ng atoms, equal yon sa charge ng molecule. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, oxidation number of hydrogen plus oxidation number of nitrogen plus oxidation number of oxygen. Kaso tatlo yon, so times 3. Okay? Kung ano yung subscript, ganun karami i-multiply mo. So oxidation number hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, equal yun sa charge ng molecule. Ano ba yung charge ng molecule? Kapag wala nakasulat sa exponent, 0. Okay? Pag wala nakasulat dito sa part na to, 0. Pero kapag kunwari may negative yan, ibig sabihin negative 1 yan. Pero kapag wala nakasulat sa exponent part, 0 yan. Okay? Take note of that. So, ito yung sabi ng rule number 3. Pag pinag-add mo yung oxidation numbers ng atoms, yun yung charge ng molecule. Ngayon, what's left is alamin kung ano yung mga charges ng mga ito. Ano yung kanilang oxidation numbers. Hydrogen, tingin tayo sa rule. May sinabi about hydrogen. Sabi, positive 1 yan kapag non-metal kasama niya, negative 1 kapag metal kasama niya. Look at the formula. Sino yung kasama ni hydrogen? Puro non-metal yan. Okay? Nitrogen is a non-metal. Oxygen is a non-metal. Therefore, hydrogen is positive 1. Kasi ang kasama niya ay non-metals. Positive 1 yan. Okay? How about nitrogen? May sinabi ba? Wala. Walang sinabi about nitrogen. So, X to. X yan. Okay? Okay? So, walang sinabi about nitrogen. Edi yun yung isosolve mo. Okay? So, hydrogen is 1, sabi dito. Rule number 3. Nitrogen, walang sinabi. So, we will solve for that. And then, we have oxygen. Ano sabi sa oxygen? Negative 1 pag peroxide, negative 2 pag all other compound. Ano uli yung peroxide? May formula yon na ganito. Yan. Okay. So, ayan. H2O2, pwede rin ganito. Na2O2. Ayan. So, yan yung mga peroxide. Okay. Pero hindi naman peroxide to, no? Hindi naman ganito formula niyan eh. HNO3 to eh. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, ang charge ni oxygen dito ay negative 2. Ito yung gagamitin natin. Again, malalaman mo kapag peroxide kung ganito yung formula. H2O2, Na2O2. Okay? So, yun lang. Other than that, hindi na siya peroxide. Okay. So now we are left in, dito sa oxidation number ni nitrogen. So solve for x lang, madali lang yan. So 1 plus x minus 3 times 2 is 6. 1 minus 6, negative 5. So x is negative 5. So ibig sabihin, ang oxidation number ni hydrogen ay positive 1. Si nitrogen ay positive 5. Si oxygen ay negative 2. Ayan yung mga oxidation number nila. Kapag pinag-add-add mo yan lahat, equal yan sa charge ng molecule which is 0. Okay? So 0 nga ba yun? Confirm natin kung tama yung na-solve natin. Siyempre, obvious dapat tama yan. 0 nga ba yung sum niyan? So 1 for hydrogen, 5 for nitrogen, 3 times negative 2 for oxygen. So ano to? This is 6. This is 6 as well. So 0 nga. Okay? So tama yung ating solving na. Okay. So that's how we determine the oxidation number of compounds, of atoms in a molecule. Okay? So ganun. Kuha pa tayo sa iba pang example. Parang maraming example. Ano pa kayang example pwede? Okay. We have a bromate. Si bro. We have a bromate molecule. Ano yung oxidation numbers nila? Okay. Since this is pa polyatomic ion yan, polyatomic ion. Okay. Paano mo malalaman kung polyatomic ion yan? Pag maraming compounds, maraming atoms, tas may charge. Maraming atoms yan, tas may charge. Ayan, polyatomic ion yan. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, kapag polyatomic ion, we will follow rule number 3. Oxidation number of bromine plus 3 times the oxidation number of oxygen equal yan sa charge ng molecule, which is negative 1. Okay? Ngayon, ano yung oxidation number ni oxygen? Alam natin na commonly negative 2 yan. Okay? So 3 times negative 2 yan. Si bromine, ano sabi? Si bromine ay group 7. Okay? Sabi dyan, negative 1 sila except when kasama nila si oxygen. Okay? Oxygen yung kasama niya. So, ibig sabihin, hindi siya negative 1. Hindi mo siya alam. Okay? So, yun yung isa-solve mo. Doing some basic algebra, x minus 6 equals negative 1. Transpose x equals to negative 1 plus 6 is 5. Okay? Ibig sabihin, the oxidation number of bromine is positive 5. For oxygen, that is negative 2. Okay? So, ganun lang. Okay? Hopefully, nagiging clear na ha. Pag may question, don't hesitate to ask. No? Alam natin wala tayong graded recitation na kasi sabi ng memo, pero still ask question kapag may tanong ha. Okay? Para magets niyo yung problem. Try natin itong mga to. Pero hindi ko to sasagutan lahat. Kayo na bahala sa iba. Okay. So, mamimili ako ng mga sasagutan ko. Ayan. Ito. Ayan. Ayan, okay na yan. So, 4 lang sasagutan ko. Kayo na bahala sa 6. Okay. Siguro ilalagay natin sa prop set yung 6. Okay. Sasagutan ko tong 4 na to. And then, ayun, no. Apply natin to para malaman natin yung oxidation numbers nila. Okay? So, punta tayo sa number 1. Okay. So, number 1, we have iron 3 nitrate. Iron 3 nitrate. Okay? Sana marunong pa kayo magpangalan ng formula, ha? Okay, so this is iron 3 nitrate. So, may mapapansin mo, ito ay polyatomic, di ba? So, ano rule natin kapag polyatomic? Pag pinag-add mo yung oxidation numbers nila, equal yun sa charge ng molecule. Okay? Ibig sabihin, the oxidation number of iron plus oxidation number ni nitrogen times 3, 9 oxidation number of oxygen, equal yan sa charge ng molecule, which is 0. Okay? O sir, paano mo nakuha yung mga ganong numbers? Saan nanggaling yung 3? Saan nanggaling yung 9? O ganito. Kapag may parenthesis ka, ibig sabihin nun, multiplier yon ng dami ng atom. 'Di ba? So, ibig sabihin na to, yung nitrogen mo ay 3. Okay? I-distribute mo yan sa loob. Yan. So, 3 times 1 is 3. Oxygen, 3 times 3, and then 9. Okay? So, wala ka naman nakikita sa exponent, di ba? Wala ka nakikita sa exponent. So, 0 yung charge na. Ngayon, tignan natin kung masosolve natin tong problem na to. Sabi, alamin yung oxidation number ng kada elemento eh. Okay? So, tignan natin kung alam natin yung kay iron, kay nitrogen, kay oxygen. Tingin tayo dito. Oxygen. May sinabi. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, kaya mo malaman kung ano yung kay oxygen kasi nasa table yon. But how about nitrogen and iron? Meron ba sa table? Wala. Okay. Paano yan? Walang sinabi kay iron, pati nitrogen. Eh, di ba sabi natin sa algebra, kapag may dalawang unknown sa iisang equation, di mo kaya masagutan yan. Okay. Hindi mo kaya malaman yung answer kapag dalawa yung unknown. Hindi natin to alam. Ito alam natin. So, since we have two unknowns, then we have to do something. Okay, so kailangan may gawin tayo. So, ano yun? Ito yun. If you have an ionic compound, split mo siya into ions. Okay, you split them into ions. Ionic compound. Okay, pag may ionic compound ka, split mo into ions. With that, life will be easier. Okay? So, ano ibig sabihin ko nun? Ionic compound. Ano ba yung ionic compound? Metal, non-metal. So, this is metal, non-metal. So, ionic compound to. Okay? So, since this is ionic compound, you can split this into ions. Okay? So, ano yung magiging ions when I split this compound into ions? So, ano? That will be Fe3+ and NO3-. Paano ko nagawa yun? Criss-cross. So, naalala nyo pa ba yung criss-cross sa Gen Chem? Gen Chem to ha. Diba, remember, ginagawa natin sa Gen Chem dati ay ganito. If you want to determine the compound, you crisscross the charges, diba? You crisscross the charges. Kunwari, you have Na+, you have a Cl-. If you crisscross the charges, you will get the compound formula. Okay? So, you will get NaCl. Okay? Naalala nyo pa ba yan? Kunwari, you have barium chloride, no? Ang ginagawa mo, crisscross the charges. Yung 2 mapupunta dito, yung 1 andun pa rin. Doon mapupunta. So you have BaCl2. What we are doing is the reverse of that. No? Nire-reverse natin yung process. Yung mga subscripts, gagawin nating exponent. Okay? So yun yung reverse crisscross. No? Okay. Ito yung crisscross na ginagawa nyo yung Gen Chem. Ang gagawin natin yung kabaliktaran. Okay? Because we have the formula, we want to determine the ions. So, we do the reverse crisscross. Okay? So, paano yun? Paano ko nagawa yan? Ganito. If you have a polyatomic ion, lagyan mo siya parenthesis. So, ayan yung parenthesis. Okay? So, itong NO3, may subscript na 3. Yung iron may subscript na 1. Pag wala nakalagay, 1 yun. Matic, di ba? So, saan galing yung 3? Saan kaya galing yung 3 na to? Sa iron. Doon yung galing. So, ibig sabihin, ang charge ng ion ay 3. Okay? Saan galing tong 1? Eh di kay nitrate. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, since iron is a metal, positive yung charge nun ng 3. Okay? Positive 3 yon. And NO3 is non-metal, ibig sabihin yan ay an ion, negative 1 yung charge niyan. Okay? So, ito yung reverse crisscross na sinasabi ko. From the formula, you convert them into ions. And once you convert them into ions, mas madali na maghanap ng oxidation number. Okay? So, what's the oxidation number of iron? That is positive 3 na. Because this is a monoatomic ion. Rule number 2 yan. Okay? Ang sabi sa rule number 2, for monoatomic ion, the oxidation number is the ion charge. Okay? So, kung ano yung charge niyan, yun na yung kanyang oxidation numbers. Di ba? Mas madali. Hindi na dalawa yung unknown. Okay? So, alam mo na agad yung kay iron. Kasi naging monoatomic ion na siya when we do the separation of ions. No? Okay? So, rule number 2 yan. Very easy na lang. Make sure lang na tama yung crisscross mo. Okay? And then we have nitrate ion. Ito, hindi, yan na talaga yon. Okay? So, we can use the rule number 3. Ang sabi sa rule number 3, oxidation number of nitrogen, 3 times oxidation number of oxygen equals negative 1. Okay. Sum ng oxidation numbers equal to the charge. Hindi mo alam yung kay nitrogen. Kay oxygen, alam mo, negative 2 yan. Okay. So, you do algebra lang. Anting algebra lang yan. That will be positive 5. Okay. Ibig sabihin, oxidation number of nitrogen is positive 5. And then, oxidation number of oxygen is negative 2. Okay? By just manipulating the formula, you can determine the oxidation numbers. Okay? So, ano lang. Remember, kapag ionic compound yan, you do the reverse crisscross. Reverse crisscross. Okay? So, ayan. Mas madali. No? Kasi kanina, dalawa unknown natin eh. Pero nung nag-reverse crisscross tayo, isa na lang yung unknown. Yung kay nitrogen na lang. Kasi yung iron natin, naging monoatomic ion siya. Okay. Naging monoatomic ion, which follows rule number 2 na nasa previous slide. Okay? So, ayan. We simplified our lives. No? Mas madali na yung buhay natin kapag ginawa natin ito. Okay? So, that's the answer for number 1. I will do the next one. Okay. Number 3. Siguro kailangan ko ng tulong dito. Para interactive naman tayo. Sino pwede magbigay sa akin ng idea? Anong gagawin ko sa number 3? Ito ay ionic compound yan. So, anong gagawin ko kapag ionic compound? Split ko yan into ions. Okay? Always remember that. If you have ionic compound, you split them into ions. Sir, paano mo ba malalaman kapag ionic compounds? Pag ionic compound, again, meron kang cation and anion. Generally, ang cation mo ay mga metals. Ang anion mo ay non-metals. No? Ito, metal to. Ito, non-metal yan. Okay, so, ibig sabihin, ionic compound to. So, if this is an ionic compound, then I must split this into ions. Okay? Split mo yan into ions. Paano? Ganito. Let me write it here. Baba ko lang. Okay. Siguro, ang iniisip ng iba sa inyo ay ganito. Yung 2, mapupunta dito. Yung 3, mapupunta doon. Mali yun. Okay. Bakit siya naging mali? Kasi nga, itong SO3, this is a polyatomic ion. Ibig sabihin ng polyatomic ion na yun, yung subscript niya has nothing to do with the charge. Okay? ano yan, hindi mo yan pwede i-reverse crisscross. Kasi pag ni-reverse crisscross yan, anong mangyari? Maging Na, ano yan? Na3 plus SO negative 2. May ganun ba? Ang Na ba ay 3 plus? Hindi. Kasi sabi natin sa rule dito kanina, kapag group 1, positive 1. Ginawa mong positive 3. Mali yan. Okay? So kasi remember that SO3 is a polyatomic ion. And when we have a polyatomic ion, ano ginagawa natin? Hindi natin agad-agad tina-transfer yung subscript sa dulo. Okay? Hindi mo ita-transfer yung subscript sa dulo. Okay? Bakit? Kasi nga, you treat it as one entire formula. Okay? So mali kasi yung ganun. Maraming students na nagkakamali dyan, lalo na nun dyan, Chem, which is okay pa rin naman, pero hopefully natutunan tayo sa mali natin. If we have a polyatomic ion, ito yung sinasabi ko sa students ko dati. Pag may nakita kang polyatomic ion, lagyan mo ng parenthesis. Okay? Pag naglagay ka ng parenthesis, tas walang nakalagay dun sa labas nun, ibig sabihin, 1 yon nasa labas niya. Okay? So, ganun yung pinapagawa ko sa students ko. If you recognize this as a polyatomic ion, maglagay ka ng parenthesis, then lagyan mo ng 1 yung labas niya. Okay? So, ito. Ibig sabihin na ito, lalagyan mo ng parenthesis, then 1. Same as this one, lalagyan mo yan ng ganyan. Same as this one, lalagyan mo yan ng ganyan. Okay? So, ganun. Paano ko ba, sir, malalaman kung polyatomic ion? Nasa Gen Chem na yan, di ko na i-discuss yan, ha? May table nun, pwede i-google na lang, okay? Google nyo na lang yung mga polyatomic ion table. Pero hopefully, kabisado nyo na, no? Kasi nag-Gen Chem na kayo, eh. So, SO3 is a polyatomic ion, therefore, you treat it as one entire unit. Lagyan mo siya ng parenthesis. Then, once may parenthesis ka na, doon ka lang mag-transfer ng charges. Itong 2 mapupunta doon, itong 1 mapupunta doon. Okay? So, kapag ginawa mo yan, tama na yung masosolve mo. Okay, so, Na is positive 1 and SO3 is negative 2. Ang metal always positive, ibig sabihin yung kabila ay negative. Ganun yan, ha? Kung sino metal, siya yung positive. Kung sino yung non-metal, sila yung negative. Okay? Kasi ang Na ay cation, so always positive yan. Okay? So, rule of thumb, pag nasa left, positive. Pag nasa right, negative. Okay? Yun yung shortcut natin dyan. Okay? So, yan. Alam na natin yung oxidation number ni sodium. Positive 1. Kasi this follows rule number 2. We have a monoatomic ion here, eh. So, rule number 2 lang yan. Positive 1 yan. Kung ano charge ng monoatomic ion, yun yung oxidation number niya. How about sulfur and oxygen? Paano yung sulfur and oxygen? You can use rule number 3 dito. Ang sabi sa rule number 3, pag mayroon kang polyatomic ion, ipag-add mo yung oxidation number nila, you will get the charge of the molecule. Okay? Pag-add mo yung oxidation numbers, you will get the charge of the molecule. I will delete this part. I need space. Ayan. So, ipag-add mo yung oxidation number ni sulfur, tas 3 oxygen, equal yan sa charge ng molecule, negative 2. Okay? Ano yung kay oxygen? Syempre, hindi naman yan peroxide. Hindi yan H2O2. Hindi yan Na2O2. Okay? So, hindi yan peroxide. So, negative 2 agad yan. Okay? How about sulfur? Wala naman sinabi dito, eh. Walang sinabi about sulfur, edi yan yung X mo. Okay? Then, yung sulfur. Okay? Sulfur, that's X minus 6, negative 2. Transpose, you get 4, positive 4. So, sulfur is positive 4, oxygen is negative 2. Okay? So, negative 2. So, those are the oxidation numbers for your elements in the compound sodium sulfite. Okay? So, yan. Yan yung kanilang oxidation numbers. Again, if you have a polyatomic ion, you just split them na. Okay? So, ganun lang. Next one, aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide, this is, yan ay ionic compound yan. Bakit naging ionic compound yan? Number 5. Okay. Number 5 is an ionic compound. Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, kapag ionic compound, you have a metal and you have a non-metal. Okay? Aluminum is a metal. Oxygen is non-metal. Okay? So, yan. So, non-metal, metal. Ibig sabihin, you split them into ions. Matik dapat yun, ha? You split them into ions. So, ano yung magiging ions natin? You do the reverse crisscross. This is very easy. 2 doon. Itong 3 mapupunta dito. Okay? So, you will have Al3 plus and O negative 2. You can use rule number 2. Sabi sa rule number 2, monoatomic ion. Monoatomic ion. Okay? So, by just following rule number 2, the oxidation number of aluminum, oxidation number of oxygen is simply positive 3 and negative 2. Okay? For number 7, siguro I will need your help. Okay? I need someone na mag-volunteer for number 7. Bawasan natin yung nasa prob set nyo. Ito, magpapa-recite ako. Pero again, hindi to graded na. So, sana may mag-recite pa rin kahit walang grades. Okay. So, ayan. So, we have that. And then we have... Ano pa kayo? Ito. Ayan, bawasan na natin yung prob set nyo. I need 4 people na mag-volunteer to solve for the oxidation numbers of the elements for items 7 to 10. Okay? Bigyan ko kayo ng hint. Dito sa 8 to 10, this is hindi siya ionic compound, okay? So you can use rule number 3 dito. Ano yung sabi ulit sa rule number 3? Pag pinag-add mo yung oxidation numbers ng atoms, equal yun sa charge ng molecule. However, number 7 is an ionic compound. Okay, so you follow rule number 2 dito. And rule number 2 and rule number 3 ang gagamitin mo dito. Ang task mo na lang is identify sino yung polyatomic ion dyan. Okay? So, I want you to do that. Sino gusto mag-volunteer? Raise your hands na lang. Kahit walang points na pandagdag. Dagdag kaalaman na lang sa buhay natin. Volunteers tayo. Gising pa naman kayo siguro na. Madali. Ayaw na mag-volunteer kasi walang points, no? Sige na nga. Ito, lalagay ko na lang ulit sa prob set niya. Babalik ko to sa prob set. Walang mag-volunteer eh. Nung may points pa tayo, ang dami nag-volunteer, no? Pero ngayon wala. Sige, okay lang. Lalagay ko na lang sa prob set niyo yan. Okay. Sagutan ko na lang to. Last one siguro dito. Okay, K2CR2O7. Siguro na loloka kayo, no? Ano kaya yan? Okay. So again, sabi ko sa inyo, wag agad-agad mag-criss-cross, ha? Baka ganito isipin nyo, ha? Mali yan. Okay, mali yan. Walang potassium na positive 7. Walang ganitong formula. Walang Cr2O. Tapos negative 2. Walang ganyan. Mali yan. Okay? Ba't siya naging mali? Kasi bawal kang mag-reverse crisscross agad-agad, no? Okay. you must identify first if you have a polyatomic ion. Okay? Always keep that in mind. Okay? So, ano yung polyatomic ion natin dito? Ang polyatomic ion dito ay yung chromate. Ito. You treat that as one formula. Again, i-google nyo na lang yung mga polyatomic ions. Pero hopefully, naalala nyo pa sa Gen Chem, no? Kasi may Gen Chem kayo. Last sem, okay? So, yan. This is a polyatomic ion that is dichromate. Okay? Pag nilagyan ko yan ng parenthesis, walang nakalagay sa labas ng parenthesis, ibig sabihin, isa lang yun. Okay? So, ganun. So, ganun. Again, ano gagawin mo? Identify mo kung sino yung polyatomic ion. Okay? So, identify sino polyatomic ion. Ito yon. So, lagyan mo siya ng parenthesis. So, since walang nakalagay na number dito, ibig sabihin nun 1 yon. Okay? So, yan. So, once na ma-recognize mo na yung polyatomic ion mo, doon ka na mag-reverse crisscross. So, dito yung 2, yung 1, doon. Ayun. So, you have K plus, and then you have Cr2O7 negative 2. For K plus, rule number, Rule number 2 lang yan. So, the oxidation number of potassium is positive 1. Kung ano yung charge niya, yun na yung oxidation number niya. For Cr2O7, this is rule number 3. Okay? Ano sabi ng rule number 3? Pag pinagad mo yung oxidation numbers nila, equals sa charge ng molecule. So, you have 2 oxidation number of chromium, 7 oxidation number of oxygen equals negative 2. May sinabi ba about chromium? Tignan sa previous table. Walang sinabi. So, yun yung X natin. 2X. Kasi may 2 sa harap eh. Okay. About oxygen. May sinabi ba? Sabi dyan, negative 2. Okay. So, hindi yan peroxide. So, that's negative 2. Okay, so 2x plus 7 times negative 2 equals negative 2. Simple algebra lang yan. Kaya i-mental yan. So 14 lipat sa kabila, magiging 12 divided by 2, positive 6. Okay. So ibig sabihin, chromium is positive 6, oxygen is negative 2. Okay. So ganun lang. Simple algebra lang. But before you do algebra, kailangan marunong ka muna ng chemistry. You must know kung sino yung mga polyatomic ion, then saka mo sila i-separate. Okay? So again, di ko na ituturo kung ano yung mga polyatomic ions kasi Gen Chem pa yon, last sem pa yon. Okay? So I believe mataas naman yung grades nyo last sem, so no need to recall. Okay? So, pero kung di nyo na maalala talaga, i-google nyo na lang. Okay? So, turuan ko kayo paano i-google yan. Type nyo lang, polyatomic ion. Yan, polyatomic ion list. Yan. Diba? Lalabas agad yung mga polyatomic ions mo. Kunwari, yung kanina, Cr2O7. Ayun, Cr2O7 dichromate. Lalagyan mo ng parenthesis yan. Okay? So, ganun lang, Always keep that in mind, no? To recognize the polyatomic ions. Okay? Since walang gusto mag-recite sa iba, I will give them to you as prob sets na lang. So please answer 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10 for your prob set. Again, ang idea dito sa 8 to 10, hindi sila ionic compound, no? So sila ay molecular compound. And ang ginagamit sa kanila ay rule number 3. Okay. Rule number 3 yan. Pero itong may mga check, ito ay mga ionic compound. Except number 6. Okay. Ayan, binigyan ko na kayo ng hint, So, alam nyo na gagawin nyo. Ito ay molecular compound yan. So, rule number 3 yan. Okay? So, yun lang. So, pakisagot na lang sa ProbSet. Again, sabi ko nga sa inyo last time, ang ProbSet ay due sa end ng semester pa, sa July pa. Okay, so, marami pa kayong time magsagot. Pero magpasa na kayo kung kaya na, ha? Okay. So, ngayon, sabi ko nga sa inyo, ang Electrochem, balik ulit tayo dito sa slide na to. Important idea dito yung oxidation numbers, no? So if you don't know how to get the oxidation numbers of atoms, then you will not fully appreciate electrochem talaga. And sabi ko nga sa inyo, engineering tayo, so kailangan favorite nyo yung electrochem kasi nga marami itong applications. Pwede ito sa battery, pwede ito gamitin to measure chemicals sa solutions, no? So yun, using potential differences, pwede mo makuha yung concentration. So important yung oxidation numbers, no? Again, kapag di pa rin siya nasabayan, you can ask me naman or you can rewatch the video. Upload ko to later on sa YouTube. Okay? So, but yun na yung rule. Yan na yan. No? Yan na yung simple version niya. Marami lang kakabisaduhin, pero pag nakabisado mo na yan, madali na lang yung buhay. Kaya you can just save the picture of this slide now. You have a copy naman. Okay? So yun lang, marami lang rules, pero important yan. Okay? Bakit nga ba kailangan natin aralin oxidation number? Kasi sabi ko earlier, no, siguro mga 1 hour before, no, sabi ko sa inyo na sa electrochemical reactions or sa electrochemistry, yung pagbabago ng oxidation number ng atom, kasabay nun yung pag-release or pag-accept ng electron. Okay? Kasi sabi natin, yung charge ng atom, di ba ano yan? Proton minus electron. Ibig sabihin, kapag nagbabago yung electron, nagbabago yung oxidation number ng atom. Okay? Kasi remember, ang electron ay important sa electrochem kasi sila yung dumadaloy sa metal. No? Ibig sabihin, doon nagkakakuryente. Okay? So, kailangan alam nyo how to know the oxidation numbers of your compounds. Okay? Kailangan marunong mag-determine ng oxidation numbers. Okay? So, ngayon, let's go to another topic. No? Okay, so, let's go to another topic which is balancing redox reaction. Okay? So, ito, another topic na naman to. Kasi parang review of Gen Chem lang tayo this day. Okay? So, tapos na tayo sa oxidation number. Ngayon, let's proceed with this one. So, what is a redox reaction? Ito, another term na naman to. Kasi kapag sinabing electrochemistry, yung reaction nila ay redox in nature. Okay? Ang redox, dalawang words yan. Reduction and oxidation. Okay? So, redox is two reactions happening at the same time. You have the oxidation reaction and the reduction reaction. Okay? So, yan. So, oxidation reaction and reduction reactions are reactions where electrons are transferred from one species to another. And then, always remember that when there is a transfer of electron, may kuryente. Okay? Kapag natatransfer yung electron, may kuryente na napoproduce. Okay? So, keep that in mind. Okay? So, sa electrochemistry, all the reactions are redox in nature. May oxidation reaction, may reduction reaction. Ano nga ba nangyayari sa dalawang yon? Ganito lang. If you have a reduction reaction, what happens here is that the electrons are gained by the species. No? Yung atoms mo, tatanggap siya ng electron. Okay? And if you have an oxidation reaction, yung atoms mo ay ibibigay niya yung electrons niya. Electrons are given off by the species. Ano consequence niyan? Ganito ang consequence. Remember that when your atom accepts electron, negative charge yung electron, di ba? So what will happen to the oxidation number when electron is added to the atom? Okay? Ano mangyayari sa charge ng atom when you add electrons? Okay? Remember your Gen Chem para masagot yung question na yan. What will happen when your atom accepts the electron? The oxidation number will Increase or decrease? O, any idea? O, dalawa lang pagpipilian nyo. Nawala talaga yung nagre-recite simula nung nag-ano tayo. Nawala na ng points. Will the oxidation number increase or decrease kapag siya ay tumanggap ng electron? Gen Chem lang yan. Chapter 2. Chapter 2
Decrease.
kasi. Ayun, decrease. They will decrease. Kasi take note that ang formula natin ng Gen Chem, charge equals proton minus electron. Ibig sabihin, kapag dumadami yung electron, mas nagiging negative yung charge or nagde-decrease yung charge. Okay? So when you see that the oxidation number decreases, okay? When you see that the oxidation number decreases, ibig sabihin reduction yon. Again, bakit bumababa oxidation number niya? Kasi nga, nadadagdagan yung electron niya. And we know this formula noong Gen Chem, sabi nito, proton minus electron equals the charge or the oxidation number. When you add electrons to your species, then mas nagiging negative yung charge, no? Nagde-decrease siya. Consequently, kapag yan ay oxidation reaction, since electrons are given off, ibig sabihin nun, yung number of electrons sa isang atom mo nababawasan, making the atom more positive. So the oxidation number must increase when there is a release of electron. Okay? So ito yung consequence, no? But important. Bakit important tong diniscuss natin kanina? Because by just looking at the oxidation number, you can identify which of them will undergo oxidation or reduction reaction. Okay? Titignan mo lang kung sino yung nagbabago yung oxidation number. Okay? Pag tumaas oxidation number niya, ibig sabihin, it underwent oxidation reaction. If ang oxidation number niya ay bumaba, therefore, it underwent reduction reaction. Okay? So take note of that, no? Okay. So for us to make this info much easier to absorb, we have a mnemonic device here, which is the oil rig. Okay? Meaning ng mga mnemonic devices, yun yung mga shortcut. Okay? Para mas madali makabisado. Oil rig. Ano meaning ng oil rig? Oxidation is losing. Reduction is gaining. Okay? Ano yung naglo-lose at nag-gain? Since ito ay usapang electrochem, usapang kuryente to, electrons yung natatransfer. So, pag oxidation, losing electron. Reduction, gaining electron. Oil rig, no? Yan. Oil, R-I-G, oil rig. Oxidation is losing electron. Reduction is gaining electron. So when an atom loses electron, it becomes more positive. Okay? And when your atom accepts the electron, it becomes more negative. Okay? Bumababa oxidation number kapag reduction. Another mnemonic device is the Leora-Geroa. Parang pangalan to, no? Pag may kambal kayo, pangalanan mo niyan, no? Ang corny na nun. This is Leora and Geroa. May meaning din yan, which is similar to oil rig. Ang Leora, losing electron, oxidation, reducing agent. Gaining electron, reduction, oxidizing agent. Ayusin ko lang sulat ko. Okay. So ito yung Leora-Geroa. Losing electron, oxidation, reducing agent. Gaining electron, reduction, oxidizing agent. Yung first three words ay similar with oil rig, no? Oxidation is losing electron. Yan. Reduction is gaining electron. No? Similar lang siya with the oil rig. Pero ang nadagdag dito is yung nasa dulo. Yung RA pati OA. No? Reducing agent pati oxidizing agent. Ano meaning niyan? Ganito lang daw. Kung sino yung chemical na nag-undergo ng oxidation, siya yung reducing agent. Okay, baliktad yung tawag ha. Kung sino yung na-oxidize, siya yung reducing agent. Baka isipin yung oxidizing agent din siya. No, baliktad yung tawag. May logic dyan. Okay, mamaya bigyan ko kayong idea. Pag sino naman daw yung nag-undergo ng reduction reaction, ang tawag din sa kanya ay oxidizing agent. Baliktad ha. Okay? Bakit kaya baliktad yung tawag dyan? Okay. Isipin nyo na lang yung mga sales agent, no? Kunwari, mga land agent, no? Mga agent ng mga lupa, no? Condominium, no? So, parang sila yung tumutulong na ikaw makakuha ng lupa. Kaya nga tawag sa kanila ay mga land agents, no? Mga sales agents, no? Sila yung tumutulong sa inyo para makuha mo yung gusto mo. So, ibig sabihin nun, itong oxidation, itong reducing agent, siya yung tumutulong sa sa kabilang reaction para ma-reduce siya. Okay? And yung oxidizing agent, ang ginagawa naman niya is tinutulungan niya yung kabilang reaction para ma-oxidize. Okay? So, tinutulungan niya yung magkabilaang side, no? So, ganun din naman, di ba, pag nagbebenta tayo ng, kunwari, bebenta ako ng lupa. Ako yung land agent kasi tutulungan kita makakuha ng lupa. So, in terms of chemicals, ako yung reducing agent kasi tutulungan kita ma-reduce. Okay? Tutulungan kita mag-undergo ng reduction. Okay? Ako yung oxidizing agent kasi tutulungan kita ma-oxidize. Okay? So, ganun. Yun yung reason ba't parang magkasalungat. Yun lang yung logic doon. No? So, they help each other. No? Kung sino yung tinutulungan nila, yun yung tawag sa kanila. Okay? Sales agent. Okay? Ibig sabihin, tinutulungan ka makakuha ng product. Okay? Ano pa ba? Land agent. No? Tutulungan ka para makakuha ka ng lupa, no? Ng kondo, ng bahay. Di ba? So, ganun lang yung idea dyan. Ba't siya baliktad? No? Kasi tinutulungan niya yung kabila. No? So, ang oxidation, tinutulungan niya yung kabila, which is the reduction. Kaya tawag sa kanya ay reducing agent. Si reduction naman, tinutulungan niya yung kabila, which is oxidation. So, siya yung agent nun, oxidizing agent. Okay? Or to just make everything much simpler, just memorize Leora Geroa na lang. Okay? Kung sino nag-undergo ng oxidation, siya yung reducing agent. Kung sino yung nag-undergo ng reduction, siya yung oxidizing agent. Okay? So, with all this in mind, no? Let's look at this equation here. You have zinc reacting with H+, producing zinc 2+, and H2. Okay? So, ano meron? Ganito. You monitor kung ano yung changes sa oxidation number nila. Tignan mo yung changes sa oxidation number. O yung zinc, 0 yan, elemental state yan. H+, rule number 1, rule number 2, monoatomic ion yan. Zinc 2+, rule number 2 yan, monoatomic ion yan. And H2, rule number 1, elemental state yan. Monitor nyo yung oxidation number nila as the chemical reaction progresses. Tignan mo. Yung zinc, from 0, oxidation number, naging positive 2 na. So, ibig sabihin, ano nangyari? The oxidation number increased, no? Tumaas yung oxidation number niya. Okay? So, ano kaya yung meaning nun? Kapag tumaas yung oxidation number, it underwent what reaction? Reduction or oxidation?
Oxidation, sir.
Oxidation. It underwent oxidation reaction. Kasi always remember, kapag tumataas yung oxidation number, it loses electron, therefore it undergoes oxidation reaction. Ayun. Ayun, so very good, no? How about H2? H from positive 1, naging 0 siya. So you can see the oxidation number decreased, no? So ibig sabihin yan, ito ay reduction. Okay. So this is reduction reaction. And yung zinc naman, nag-undergo siya ng oxidation reaction. Okay. So as you can see, by just looking at the oxidation numbers of the atom, it is clear that zinc underwent oxidation reaction because its oxidation number increased. No? And then si hydrogen naman, nag-undergo siya ng reduction because the oxidation number of hydrogen decreased from positive 1 naging 0. Okay? So clearly, we can say that, ito na yung nasa table. Okay? So therefore, we can say that zinc loses electron kasi nga siya yung nag-undergo ng oxidation. Zinc is the reducing agent and becomes oxidized. Now, sabi ko sa inyo, kung sino yung na-oxidize, ang tawag sa kanya din ay reducing agent. Okay? Siya yung tumutulong sa kabilang reaction. So, siya yung na-oxidize, so siya yung reducing agent. So, Leora Geroa lang yan. Kung sino yung tinutulungan niya sa kabila, yun yung tawag sa kanya. Reducing agent kasi tinutulungan niya yung kabilang reaction mangyari. Okay? So the oxidation number of zinc increases from 0 to positive 2. For hydrogen naman, it underwent reduction reaction. Ibig sabihin, nag-gain siya ng electron. Right? RIG. Reduction is gaining electron. And since hydrogen is reduced, then it is also called an oxidizing agent. Okay? Again, sabi ko nga sa inyo, kung sino tinutulungan nila na reaction sa kabila, yun yung tawag sa kanila. Okay? So, ang tinutulungan niya yung oxidation. So, ibig sabihin siya ay oxidizing agent. And the oxidation number of hydrogen decreases from positive 1 to 0. Okay? So, ganun lang. Ito yung nangyayari sa batteries natin. No? So, very complicated. No? Daming concept pala na kailangan mo malaman to understand batteries. No? Okay? So, ganun nangyayari dyan. No? So, you have your electrodes. No? One of which is losing electron. The other is accepting the electron. So, bago i-accept yung electron, dadaan yun sa circuitry natin. Kaya, nagpa-power up yung device natin. Okay? Ako na dito sa cellphone ko na to. Yung battery na to, may side dito na maglo-lose ng electron. And yung electron na malulose yan, pupunta yan sa circuitry na to. Kaya gumagana yung aking cellphone. Okay? So, pag gumana yung cellphone mo, ibig sabihin, dumadalo yung kuryente doon. Okay? Then after nun, yung electron na yon pupunta sa other side na tatanggap ng electron, yung reduction side. Okay? Okay? So, ganun yung nangyayari dito. So, sa battery natin, we have an oxidation reaction and reduction reaction happening at the same time. Okay? So, habang dumadalo yung kuryente, napapower up yung device natin. Okay? So, ang daming concept na kailangan mo malaman in order to appreciate batteries. Okay? Ganun talaga. Wala tayong magagawa. Okay? Ayan yung importance ng chemistry. No? Pag alam mo yung chemistry, you can easily apply that sa engineering. Okay? Madali lang. Okay? Let's look at this formula. I want you to identify the reducing agent, the oxidizing agent. Paano ko gagawin yan? Madali lang. Yung oxidation numbers kanina. Okay? Yung ginawa natin kanina, yan yung gagamitin natin in order to see whether ito ay redox reaction or not. Okay? So, hindi na ako hindi na ako magma-manual solving ng oxidation number kasi I can do it mentally. Okay? Kasi alam ko na eh. Okay? Pero kayo, siguro you may want to try to determine their individual oxidation numbers. Pero kung gagawin ko is i-mental ko na lang and I will leave that to you for practice. Okay? Practicean nyo na lang. Pero ako gagawin ko mental. Okay? So alamin ko yung oxidation numbers ng kada elements and I will check if may nagbabago. Kapag may nagbabago, ibig sabihin redox yun. Okay? Redox reaction to. Pag walang nagbabago sa oxidation number, hindi siya redox reaction. Keep that in mind. Okay? So ito, i-mental ko to ha. Now, aluminum is 0, elemental state, rule number 1. Hydrogen is positive 1, sinabi yun sa table. Oxygen is negative 2. Okay? So, ang sulfur ay napaisip tuloy ako. So, X 4 times 2 negative equals negative 2. So, negative 8, negative 2, 8, positive 6 no? Plus 6. Okay? So, yeah, tama. Okay, so tama. Mental lang. Ito, this will be reverse crisscross. This will be positive 3. Will be positive 6. This will be negative 2. This will be 0. Okay? Ayun, minental ko na lahat. And yan yung kanilang oxidation numbers. Bilis na. Ganun lang kasi talaga dapat pag alam mo na. Okay? So, with that in mind, tignan mo kung may nagbabago ng oxidation number. Tignan mo ha. Sino yung nagbabago yung oxidation numbers? Sino yung elements?
Aluminum.
Si aluminum, pati si? Sino pa?
Hydrogen, sir.
Ayun, si aluminum pati si hydrogen nagbabago. Kasi look, from 0, naging 3 plus siya. Okay? From 0, yung aluminum, naging positive 3 siya. Okay? So, since it loses electron, tumaas yung oxidation number niya. So, ibig sabihin, it lost an electron na. It lost 3 electrons to be exact na. So, since 3 electrons yung nawala sa kanya, ibig sabihin, ito ay oxidation. Okay? Oxidation yan kasi tumaas yung oxidation number niya from 0 to positive 3. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, yung hydrogen, ito ay reduction. Okay? So, reduction yan. Kasi ano nangyari? From positive 1 naging 0. So, bumaba yung oxidation number niya. And again, remember, then when you have decrease in oxidation number, ibig sabihin nun ay reduction reaction yan. Wait lang ha. Yung kuting ko lang. May ginagawa sa baba. Ayan, so yan yung ganap lang. So again, by just observing the changes in the oxidation numbers, yan, malalaman mo kung sino yung redox, no? Sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction. And again, hindi pwede parehas yan ng oxidation. Hindi rin pwede parehas yan ng reduction. Kailangan tig-isa. Kaya nga redox tawag sa kanila. Partner sila eh. Reduction and oxidation. So, hindi pwede dalawa yung oxidation mo, hindi pwede dalawa reduction. Okay? So, we can say that this is redox in nature. And since aluminum underwent oxidation, we call this the reducing agent. Okay? Kung sino yung nag-underwent ng oxidation, ang tawag sa kanya ay reducing agent. Remember, Leora Geroa. And si hydrogen sa sulfuric acid, siya ay reduction. Okay? Meaning siya ay oxidizing agent. Okay? Oxidizing agent siya. Ayan. So, ganun lang. Yung products, wala tayong tawag sa kanila, ha? So, walang tawag doon pag products. Yung reactants lang yung may pangalan. Yung products, wala na. Kaya mo lang sila. Let's look at this one. H2SO4 plus sodium hydroxide, sodium sulfate, and water ang mapoproduce. Is this redox? Alamin natin. Again, i-mental ko yung oxidation numbers. Then, we will see if ito ay redox or not. No? So, i-mental ko to. Wait lang. So, this will be positive 1, positive 6, negative 2, positive 1, negative 2, positive 1, positive 1, positive 6, negative 2, positive 1, and negative 2. Okay. So, yan yung kanilang mga oxidation numbers when you do it mentally. Ang tanong, may nagbago ba ng oxidation number? Meron ba? Look carefully. Meron ba nagbago ng oxidation number?
Wala, sir.
Wala. So, kapag walang nagbago ng oxidation number, ibig sabihin ito ay not redox reaction. Okay? So, ganun. Hindi siya redox reaction. Okay? So, it could be any other reactions na lang. No? Pwede siyang acid-base reaction. Okay? Pwedeng double displacement reaction. Ayun. No? So, itong nasa taas, ito ay single displacement Okay? Single displacement reaction to. So, ibig sabihin nun, mga single displacement reaction, they are redox in nature. Ang double displacement, pwede siyang hindi redox. No? Okay, so yan. Pwedeng other types of reaction yung nag-undergo, yung in-undergo niya. Okay, so yan. That is not a redox reaction. Therefore, wala tayong oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Walang ganan. Okay? How about this one? So again, I will do it mentally na lang, but I still want you to practice dito sa mga items na ito, ha? Okay? Practice yung pag-solve ng oxidation numbers. Okay? Ito, rule number 1 lang to. So this is positive 1, 0, 0, positive 3. Di ba? Very easy. So as you can see, silver went from positive 1, naging 0 siya. Okay? And then yung aluminum from 0, naging positive 3. Okay? So, for silver, this is, reduction. Kasi bumaba oxidation number niya from positive 1, naging 0. So, since silver ion is the reduction reaction, meaning siya yung oxidizing agent. Okay? So, si aluminum naman, tumaas oxidation number niya. So, ibig sabihin, it underwent oxidation. Ayusin ko ngayon sulat. Wait lang. Ayusin ko lang sulat. So, this is positive 1, 0, 0, positive 3. Okay? Okay, so again, silver, bumaba oxidation number niya. So, ibig sabihin, it underwent reduction. It is also called oxidizing agent. Okay? Oxidizing agent siya. Si aluminum, tumaas yung oxidation number niya. So, it underwent oxidation reaction. Ibig sabihin, this is reducing agent. Okay? So, ganun lang. Very easy. Again, wala tayong tawag sa products. Okay. Itong nasa baba, mental ko na lang uli. Pero again, pag-practicean nyo, ha? Ito, syempre, positive 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 1, 8, positive 7, H is positive 1, negative 2, positive 1. Okay. So yan yung yan yung sa second reaction, yan yung mga oxidation numbers nila. I hope it's correct. Yeah, sa tama. Okay. So ayan, ito kayo naman tatanungin ko, sino yung reduction reaction diyan?
Yung manganese po.
Ayun yung manganese, no? Reduction, kasi from positive 7, naging positive 2 na lang, bumaba. 'Di ba? Ayun. So, bumaba yung oxidation number niya. So, ibig sabihin, from positive 7, naging positive 2 na lang. So, this is reduction. It is also called oxidizing agent. Okay? Then, obviously, yung chlorine, edi yun yung kabaliktaran. From negative 1, naging positive 1. Ayun, no? Positive 1. So, it underwent oxidation. And it is also called reducing agent. Okay? So, reducing agent din siya. Ganun lang. Okay? So, very important yung oxidation number. Okay? Kasi pag di mo kaya yung oxidation number, mahirapan ka mag-identify kung sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction. Hopefully, by next meeting natin, kaya nyo na siya i-mental. Okay? Ako, kaya ko na i-mental kasi since high school ako, ginagawa namin to sa school, no? Yung dating curriculum before K-12, naabutan ko yon 2 years after, doon nagka K-12. 2014 na ako graduate ng high school eh. Ayun. 2014, high school, graduation, then college na agad. Tapos 2018, graduate sa college. Okay. So, ayun. So, before kasi, yung curriculum ng ng DepEd is, third year is puro chemistry. Kaya na-discuss talaga sa amin to nung high school pa lang kami. I don't know kung na-discuss din sa inyo to nung high school, senior high school, no? Sa senior high kasi medyo mahirap to habulin eh. Ang dami kasing kailangan ikwento dun eh. Kaya hindi na siguro na-discuss sa inyo. Pero yun, sayang lang. May K-12 pa tayo. Dami tuloy na walang topics. Okay. Daming na walang time. So, yan. That's how you identify kung sino yung reduction, sino yung oxidation. No? Just look at the oxidation numbers and then, yan, you can tell kung sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction, sino yung reducing agent, sino yung oxidizing agent. Okay? Ito, next question. Okay, let's look at these examples. Are the equation balanced? No? Balanced ba yung equation? Yung nasa baba, yan. Mas obvious yung nasa baba eh. Balance ba yung nasa baba?
Hindi po.
Hindi, di ba? Kasi, tignan mo, yung oxygen, 4. Sa kabila, 1 lang. Okay. Ibig sabihin, unbalanced to. Ito nasa taas. Ito, it seems na balance siya, no? Tingnan mo, isang silver, isang aluminum, isang aluminum. Pero, hindi yan talaga balanced. No? In reality, this is not balanced. Siguro, you may ask, bakit? No? Ganito kasi. Recall the law of conservation of mass. Ang sabi doon, whatever the particles present before the reaction, yun din dapat yung particles present after the reaction. In terms of element, obvious yun, no? Kasi titignan mo lang, ito 4 na oxygen, ayun, isang oxygen. So, unbalanced to, sir. Kasi hindi pantay yung oxygens, hindi pantay yung atoms. Pero also remember, kapag sinabi kong particle, dun sa law of conservation of mass, hindi lang atom yung kailangan mo tignan. Even the electron should matter. Kung ilan yung electron before the reaction, ganun dapat karami yung electrons after the reaction. It means that dapat balanced yung charges. Kung ilan before, ganun dapat after. Kailangan mag-balance out yung charge. Okay? Yun yung sabi ng law of conservation of mass. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung ito, positive 1 to, 0 to, on the left side, we have positive 1 charge. On the right side, we have 0 plus 3. Positive 3 on the right side. Very obvious na yung electrons natin hindi pantay. Kasi positive 1 dito sa left, positive 3 sa right. So, ibig sabihin, although the atoms are balanced, the electrons are not. Therefore, this is also unbalanced equation. Okay? So, yun yung idea dito sa redox reaction. Hindi lang atom yung ibabalance mo, kasama yung electron. Kasi take note, yung electron, pinagpapasa-pasahan nila. Okay? Ibig sabihin, baka may chance na maging unbalanced yun. Okay? So, yun yung important sa redox. No? Other than the atoms, you also need to balance the electrons. And yun yung i-discuss na natin. Pero siguro, mabilisan na lang gagawin ko muna para makapag-lunch na rin kayo. Kasi ako nagugutom na rin ako. Okay. Mabilisan lang muna tayo. Then, balikan uli natin to next meeting. But I hope na next meeting, mas mabilis na kayo mag-solve ng oxidation numbers. Mas mabilis na kayo mag-balance, no? So, kapit lang muna dahil bibilisan ko na yung discussion para makakain na tayo. Kung kumakain na kayo, edi good. Pero ako magugutom ako. Okay. So, let's balance them. Okay. So, these are the rules when balancing redox reaction. Mas marami. Okay. Pero actually, mas madali ito para sa akin. Nahihirapan ako teacher na ako, pero nahihirapan pa ako mag-balance ng yung kapag titignan mo yung mga atoms lang na sobrang dami. Tatagalan ako doon. Pero pag redox, ang dali-dali para sa akin. But for others, nahihirapan sila dito. I don't know why. Siguro mas masaya sa akin pag mas mahirap. I don't know. Okay. Kasi yung typical balancing, nalilito pa nga ako minsan. Ako na teacher na. Pero eto favorite ko to kasi mas madali siya i-balance for me. Let me tell you kung paano mag-balance ng redox reaction. First, you split the equation into two half equation. Yung equation mo kanina, hahatiin mo siya into two half equation. Paano ko sila hahatiin, sir? Yung isang equation, yun yung oxidation. Yung isang equation, yun yung reduction. Okay? So, i-group mo sila based on anong reaction yung in-undergo nila. So, ibig sabihin, ito, split ko to into oxidation and reduction. Okay? So, I will write an equation as Ag plus to Ag. And then, Al to Al3 plus. Sorry. Nasa taas dapat. Okay? So, split mo sila into two. Yun yung first step. Split them into two. Kung sino yung reduction, sino yung oxidation, yun yung gagawin mo. So then once you split the equation, then saka mo sila individually i-balance. Dalawa yung i-balance mo dito. Okay? So, we balance the atoms other than oxygen and hydrogen before balancing them sequentially. Oxygen first, then hydrogen last. Balancing oxygen, add water. Balancing hydrogen, add H+. Okay? And then, mamaya mas makikita nyo to later. Okay? After that, balance the charges by adding electron to the side with the higher charge. Take note of that. And then combine the half equations, making sure that the number of electrons are equal. Okay. So, anong idea dito? Ganito yung idea, general. Yung equation mo kanina, split mo into two, then saka mo i-balance yung dalawang equation. Balance mo yung isa, balance mo yung isa. So, when balancing the two equations, kailangan balance yung atoms. Okay. In order to balance oxygen, mag-a-add ka ng water. In order to balance hydrogen, you add H+. Okay? Then, after mo mabalance yung atoms, you check the charges. Okay? Then, pag binilang mo yung charge, kailangan pantay yon kasi sabi ko nga, law of conservation of mass. Okay? So, kailangan yung electrons natin or charges ay balanced. Okay? Otherwise, you have to add electrons pag hindi pantay. Okay? Saan maglalagay ng electrons sa side with the highest charge? And then, after that, you combine them again, making sure that the electrons are again balanced. Okay? So, parang ang complicated, no? Yes, medyo complicated siya. Pero again, once na magamay nyo to, ang dali-dali na lang, as in, no? Kahit tulog ka, kaya mo sagutan to. Okay? So, ako minsan, nanaginip ako, nagsasagot ako ng mga problems. Okay? So, ayan, let's begin with this one. Ito, madali lang to. Okay? So, again, ano yung first step? First step is to split the equation into two half equations. No? Okay? Actually, kahit wag mo na i-identify sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction. Wag mo muna i-identify. Ano yung shortcut ko dito? Kung sino yung mga similar atom, yun yung pagsasamahin mo. Okay? Yan, yung kung sino yung mga similar atom, yun yung mga pagsasamahin mo lang. So you have Ag plus, Ag, you have Al, Al3 plus. Okay? So, wag ka muna mag-identify kung sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction. Okay lang. Basta gawin mo, pagsamahin mo yung pare-parehas na atoms. Okay? Similar atoms. Ag plus Ag, ayan yan. Al, Al3 plus, ito yan. Once na na-split mo na sila, you go with the next rule. Okay? So, first step pa lang din eh. Second step, ano sabi? Balance the atoms. Okay? Balance mo yung atoms. In terms of atoms, ito, isa, isa. Balance na yan. Ito isa lang din. So, isang aluminum. So, balance na rin yung ating atoms. No? Sana mangyayari. Wala ka nang gagawin. Balance na yung atoms mo eh. Okay? So, tapos ka na sa rule number 2. Balance na siya. Rule number 3. Balance the charges. Okay? In balancing the charges, you add electrons to the side with the higher charge. Keep that in mind. To the side with the higher charge. Okay? So, dito muna tayo kay silver. Sa left side, dito sa silver equation, positive 1 yung charge dito. Sa right side, 0 yung charge. Sino mas mataas? 0 o 1? E di malamang yung 1. Ito yung mataas yung charge eh. Diba? Positive 1 yan eh. So, ano sabi dun sa rule number 3? Mag-a-add ka ng electron doon sa side na mataas yung charge. So, dito ako maglalagay ng electron. Okay? Take note, electron is negatively charged. Question is, ilang electron ilalagay mo? Just enough electron to bring down the charge, no? Para magpantay sila. Enough number of electrons lang para magpantay sila. So, imagine mo ganito to. Yung 1 gagawin mong 0. How will you do that? E di mag-add ka ng negative 1. Yung negative 1 na yun ay manggagaling sa electron. So that negative 1 plus 1 is 0. This one is already 0. Balance na yung electrons. Okay? So again, para mas makita natin, another example, ito nasa baba. Sa left side, wala tong electrons, walang charge, so 0 yan. On the right side, we have positive 3. Sino mas mataas? 0 o positive 3? Malamang yung positive 3. So, saan ako maglalagay ng electron? Sa left o sa right?
Sa right.
Sa right. No? Sa right ako maglalagay ng electron. Tanong, ilan?
3, sir. Tatlo.
Bakit tatlo?
Para maging 0 po.
Yun, para maging 0. I have to make sure that the charges sa dalawang side, kailangan mag-0 sila. Okay? Kailangan mag-0 sila. Not necessarily 0. No? Ang gusto ko lang magpantay yung charge. No? Kunwari, positive 1 to, edi kailangan maging positive 1 din to. Kunwari, negative 2 yan, edi kailangan negative 2 din dito. Okay? In order to balance the charges. Okay? So, by adding 3 electrons, magma-minus 3 ako dyan. So, 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 na yung charge dito. 0 na charge dito. Ito, 0 na yan. 0 na yan. Okay, so we're good na. Pero, remember, number 3 pa lang yun. Step 3 pa lang tayo. Step 4 pa. Dami, no? Hindi ko alam paano ko ito naging favorite. Kasi ang daming steps. Pero ang saya na ito. Pag nakabisado mo na. Okay. So, after mo sila paghiwalayin, pagbabalikin mo sila. Comeback is real. Okay. So, ano yan? Isipin mo na parang sa relationship. Naghiwalay muna sila para magmuni-muni, tapos nagkabalikan sila. Para hindi na sila toxic. So, parang ganun din dito. Split muna sila, then pag ayos na sila, dun sila magsasama uli. No? Sana all. Anyway, so when combining this, ano sabi sa previous slide? You make sure that the number of electrons are equal. Ibig sabihin, kung 3 yung electrons sa kabila, dapat 3 din sa kabila. Kung 2 yung electrons sa kabila, dapat 2 din sa kabila. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, kailangan magpantay yung electrons. 3 dito. 1 doon. Ano gagawin ko? Ang pwede mo gawin, sabi ng Electrochem is, i-multiply mo yung isang equation by a factor in order to make the equations, in order to make the electrons balance. Kung 3 electrons to, kailangan 3 din yon. How? You just multiply the entire equation by 3. Pwede yon. Okay? So, yan. Minultiply ko yung top equation by 3 para magpantay yung electron. Para tig-3 na lang sila. Okay? Then, after that, doon ko na lang sila pwede pagsamahin. Okay? Pagsasamahin ko na sila ulit. Okay? So, kopyahin mo yung mga nasa left. Ano yung mga nasa left? 3 electrons, 3 Ag plus aluminum, 3 Ag, Al3 plus 3 electron. Okay? Ganun lang. Pagpantayin mo lang yung dami ng electron. Tapos, pagpantay na yung electrons, dun mo na sila pagsamahin. Then after that, you can cancel similar terms. Ano yung mga similar term? Yung electron. Okay? Yun yung reason bakit kailangan pantay yung electron. Kasi in the end, kailangan wala kang makikitang electron. Okay? Kailangan mag-cancel out sila. Yan yung last step. And that is the final equation. This is already balanced. Okay, so again, let's recall the steps. Una, split the equation into 2 half equations. Similar atoms yung pagsasamahin. So you have the Ag plus Ag, ito yon. Al3 plus, ayan. Then, balance the atoms. The atoms are already balanced. Isang Ag, isang Ag, isang Al, isang Al. Okay. Then, pag-balance na yung atoms, charges naman. So, charges. Positive 1 to, 0 to. So, add 1 electron. Balance na to. 0 to, positive 3 yon. Add 3 electrons. Balance na yung charge. Step 4, combine the 2 equations, making sure that the electrons are equal. Hindi sila pantay, no? Ito 3, ito 1. So, in order to make the electrons equal, you multiply the entire equation by 3. Ay, multiply mo yung entire equation by 3 para mag-balance yung electrons. Then, ipag-add mo sila.
Sumigaw ako. Dinig ko sa anak ko.
Ayan. Anyway. So, yan. So, ipag-add mo na lang sila. Then, yun. Canceled out dapat yung electron. Siguro, you may ask, no, Sir, paano kapag kunwari lang ha, 2 electron dito, 3 electron sa kabila. Ang gagawin ko? Any idea? What if ganyan yung case natin? 2 sa kabila, 3 sa kabila. Anong gagawin mo? You get there. LCM. Kukunin mo yung LCM nila. Basically, you just multiply 2 and 3. Yun yung LCM natin. So, 2 times 3 is 6. No? So, 6 yung least common multiple nila. So, in order to make them 6, this equation has to be multiplied by 3. This one has to be multiplied by 2 so that you will have 6 electrons at the end. Okay? So, ganun gagawin nyo ha. Pag hindi pantay talaga yung electron. 2 yung isa, 3 sa kabila. Kunin mo yung LCM. You multiply them. Okay? So, ganun. Even LCM, no? Damay din, no? Grade 4, grade 4 math. LCM, GCF, di ba? Na-trauma ako dun eh. Dati takot ako sa math. Pero wala, kailangan mo mabuhay gamit ang math. Lalo na kayo, engineering kayo. Ginusto nyo yan eh. Algebra, magaling na kayo sa algebra, ha? By the way, I forgot. Sorry. Basing on the equation, you can actually tell kung sino yung redox, no? Sino yung reduction, sino yung oxidation. Pag reduction yan, yung electron nasa left side. Okay? Yung electron ay nasa left side. Pag oxidation yan, yung electron ay nasa right side. Okay? Keep that in mind. Pag nasa left side yung electron, reduction. Pag nasa right side yung electron, oxidation. Kasi ito yung sinasabi na gaining electron. Ito, papasok siya doon. Kaya nawala siya. Okay? Gaining electron. So, papasok yung electron sa kanya. Ito naman, losing electron. Ito, mawawalan siya ng electron. Okay? So, by just looking at the equation, you can tell kung sino yung reduction, sino yung oxidation. So, basically, you can abandon the knowledge of oxidation numbers. Kahit pwede nyo na siya kalimutan. Okay? Pwede nyo nakalimutan. Pero, important pa rin yun naman, lalo na sa last topic natin. Okay. So, ako ganun ginagawa ko eh. Tignan mo na lang kung saan yung electron pag nasa left, reduction, pag nasa right, oxidation. Ito siguro last na to for today kasi ako ay nagugutom na talaga. Ko-continue natin to. Siguro sagutan niyo to sa probset, no? Probset. Ayan, may dinagdag ako. May dadagdag pa ako, no? Plus some more. Happy face. Siguro ito. Baka may magreklamo pa. Take note, yung ating probset, ang pasahan yan, July pa. Okay. So, masyado na akong maluwag sa time, no? Kaya, yan. We should not have any problems with that. Okay? July pa eh. Tagal pa. Kailan ba ang July? Mag-June na. So, matagal-tagal pa. 1 month pa, no? Pero yun nga, wag nyo itambak na lang. Kasi hindi na nga ako nagpapaquiz. Yung ibang prof nagpapaquiz pa rin ata until now, no? Di marunong sumunod sa batas. Okay. So, anyway. So, ayan. We have this MnO4, Cl, Mn2 plus HClO. Ano sabi ko? You split them into two equations that are similar. Pagsamahin ko yung Mn. Pati yung Cl. Ito Cl. Ayan. Ayan, yung rule number 1, split the equation into two. Pangalawa, sabi doon, you balance the atoms. When balancing the atoms, idulo mo na yung oxygen pati hydrogen. Okay? Ibig sabihin yung Mn muna, tignan ko. Yung Mn, isa dito, isa doon. Balance na yung Mn. Ano susunod? Sabi doon, sequentially, oxygen first, then hydrogen. Okay? So, pag balance ng ibang atom, doon ka na mag-balance ng oxygen, pati hydrogen. Okay? Ang gagawin ko, to balance oxygen, add water, H2O. So, yung gagawin ko. Ilan oxygen meron sa equation? Sa left side, 4. Sa right side, wala. Ilang water ang kailangan? 4 din. Bakit 4? Kasi, ang isang water molecule, may isang oxygen yan. Okay? So, ito yung kakaiba sa redox. No? In order to balance oxygen, mag-a-add ka ng water. Ito yung kakaiba sa kanya. So, kung ilang oxygen kailangan mo, ganun karaming water ang ilalagay mo. 4 na oxygen, 4 na water. So, again, take note, isang water, isang oxygen katumbas. So, yun yung gagawin mo, ha? Okay, so take note of that. When balancing oxygen, add water. Kung ilang oxygen kailangan, ganun karaming water ilalagay. Then, when balancing H plus ang idadagdag. Okay? So, you can see, balance yung manganese, isa. Balance yung oxygen, 4. 4 times 1, 4. Pero yung hydrogen, hindi na siya balanced, no? So, in order to balance hydrogen, you add H+. Sa right side, wala yung hydrogen natin dito. Sa left side, wala. So, dito ako maglalagay ng H+. Ang tanong, ilan? E di 8, no? 8H+ ang ilalagay ko sa left side. Dumadami yung natin, nilalagay, no? Ganun talaga. Kaya nga nakaka-enjoy ito eh. Dumadami lalo yung nilalagay mo na compounds. No? So, yan. So, balance na yung atoms natin yan. Again, let's recall. Una, gagawin mo, balance mo yung Mn. Balance na yan. Isang Mn, isang Mn. Sunod, balance mo oxygen. In order to balance oxygen, water ang ilalagay. 4 oxygen dito. 4 na water ilalagay mo doon para balance yung oxygen. 4. Okay? Then after nun, yung hydrogen naman yung problema mo. Hydrogen. So, in order to balance hydrogen, H+ daw iladagdag. Okay? So, you have 8 hydrogens here, 4 times 2. So, kailangan 8 yung H+ sa left side. Yan, balance na yung atoms. Atoms pa lang yun, hindi pa yung charges. Okay? Ito, punta tayo sa step 3. Balance the charges. Okay. So, gagawin natin, dito sa top equation, alamin natin yung total charge, no? So, sa left side, ano yung total charge? Ganito gagawin mo dyan. Coefficient times the charge. Okay? 8 times positive 1 plus, ano coefficient na ito? 1. 1 times negative 1. O, ilan yan? 7. Positive 7. O, so, sa left side, positive 7 yung charge natin. Sa right side, ilan? Ganun pa rin, coefficient times the charge. 1 times positive 2. 4 times, ito. Wala siyang exponent. So, ibig sabihin, ano yung charge niya?
0.
0. Okay? So, coefficient times the charge na gagawin mo. 8 times 1, 1 times negative 1. Pag add mo yon 7. Ito, 1 times 2, 4 times 0, edi positive 2. Okay? So, on the left side, positive 7 yung charge. On the right side, positive 2 yung charge. Sino yung mas mataas? Positive 7, positive 2. Obviously,
7.
positive 7. Yes. Positive 7 yan. Mas mataas yan. So, saan ka maglalagay ng electron? Sa left
Sa
side o sa right side? Saan
Sa
maglalagay
left
ng electron? Ayun, sa left side. So, dito ako maglalagay ng electron. Babaguhin ko kulay. Yan. Tanong, ilan?
5.
5. Paano naging 5? Bakit naging 5? Pero tama yon 5.
Para mabalance sa 2.
Ayun. Para yung overall charge maging 2 na lang. Okay? O sana clear sa iba, no? Ito yung technique ko na ginagamit, no? Ginagawa ko na lang, highest charge minus the lowest charge. 7 minus 2, edi 5. Edi 5 kailangan mo. Okay? Ganun lang yung technique ko. You can apply that sa previous problem natin. Okay? Ito, 1 minus 0, edi isang electron. 3 minus 0, edi 3 electron. Diba? Shortcut yan. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, high charge minus low charge. Ganun karaming electron na kailangan mo. So, 7, tapos 2. So, 7 minus 2, 5. Edi 5 electrons. Okay? So, ganun. Easy lang, di ba? Dali, no? Pag na-master nyo na to, dali-dali na lang nito. Grabe. Okay, about this one. Hindi pa tayo tapos sa isa, ha? Cl, HClO. Okay? Balance yung Cl. Isang Cl, isang Cl. Wala na tayong problema. Okay? So, after balancing the other atoms, you balance oxygen, then hydrogen. Oxygen. Isang oxygen dito sa right side. Ibig sabihin, I will add water sa left side, isa lang. Isang water lang. Okay? Kasi isang oxygen lang meron dun eh. Then after nun, balance ko yung hydrogen. Dalawa hydrogen dito sa left, sa right ay isa. Ibig sabihin nun, I will add H plus sa right. Okay? So, ganun. Now, mabalance na yung atoms. Balance na yung Cl, isang Cl, isang Cl, isang oxygen, dalawang H, isa, dalawa. Balance na yung atoms. Next one is the charge. Ito, gawin natin coefficient times the charge. So, this is 1 times 0. 1 times negative 1. Overall, that's negative 1. Dito sa right side, coefficient times the charge. So, 1 times 0, 1 times positive 1. Baka nagtataka kayo, saan galing yan, no? Ito yan, 1 times 0, 1 times negative 1. 1 times 0, 1 times positive 1. Okay? Okay, so, sa right side, positive yung charge. Saan ako maglalagay ng electron? Sige. Saan ako maglalagay ng electron?
Positive 1, sir.
Dito sa right side, no? Dito sa may positive 1. Ilan?
Dalawa.
Dalawa? Dalawa. Okay. 2 electrons. Again, ano yung technique natin? High charge minus low charge. 1 minus negative 1. So, the same as 1 plus 1. So, 2 electrons ang ilalagay mo. Okay? Ganun lang. Same as this one. 7 minus 2 equals 5 electrons. Yan. Okay? So, hopefully clear yon, no? Para mas madali isipin. High charge minus low charge. And so, balance na yung ating dalawang half equations. Ngayon, pagsasamahin na natin sila. Okay. Lahat ng pinaghiwalay ay pagsasamahin. Burahin ko lang ha, yung ibang parts. Wala na bura. Ano ba yan? MnO4. Pagdikitin ko na lang sila. Wait lang ha. Mas madali ito sa whiteboard eh. Ngayon, yung pinaghiwalay mong equation, pagsasamahin mo. Ano yung sabi natin doon? Before mo sila pagsamahin, you make sure the electrons are equal. Okay? You must make sure the electrons are equal. Equal ba? Obviously, hindi, di ba? 5 yung isa, 2 yung isa. So, hindi mo pwede pagsamahin yan. Ano gagawin mo? You get their LCM. Basically, multiply mo lang yung number of electrons. Okay? So, 5 yung isa, 2 yung isa. So, LCM nun ay 10. 5 times 2 is 10. It means na dapat 10 yung electrons natin overall. In order to make the electrons equal to 10, I have to multiply the top equation by 2. Times 2 ko yan. Okay? Times 2 yan. Para 5 times 2 equals 10. Okay? Yung babang equation, para maging 10 yan, ano gagawin ko? Times 5. Okay? So, ganun gagawin mo. Hindi mo agad pwede pagsamahin. Kailangan pantay yung electron. So, get their LCM. 5 and 2. Ang LCM ay 10. Okay? So, that means the top equation has to be multiplied by 2 para maging 10 yung electrons. Yung bottom equation, para maging 10 yung electrons, you have to multiply it by 5. Okay? Well, let me rewrite everything dito sa baba. Let me rewrite. So, I will now have 10 electrons.
8 times 2, 16 H plus 2 MnO4 2 Mn2 plus 8 H2O. Okay? Then yung isa, 5 water, 5 Cl minus, 5 HClO, 5 H plus, 10 electrons. Okay? Ano ginawa ko? Minultiply ko lang yung coefficient. Okay? Then, saka ko na sila pwede pagsamahin kasi yung electrons ay pantay na. Okay? Pantay na yung electrons. Pagsamahin mo na yan, overall, ang daming nakalagay. Teka lang. Ganito talaga yung redox reaction. Baka nagtataka kayo. Sabi, ay, ang dami nangyayari. Yes, maraming nangyayari. Kaya, appreciate your batteries. Kaya nila gawin yan eh. Imagine nyo, ang mga atoms na yan, di naman nag-iisip yung mga yan eh. Nagta-transfer lang sila ng electron eh. So, dapat tayo, mas ma-understand natin sila. Okay. So, yun yung goal natin as STEM students. No? STEM na kayo eh. Hindi na kayo dating strand. No? In understanding this, you can create batteries. No? Ito yung gusto ko i-thesis sa master's ko. Pero saka na yung thesis. Ay, ang dami. Ang haba ng equation, no? Ganun talaga. Wala tayong magagawa dyan. Ayan, so that's the final equation. I mean, hindi pa pala yung final. Bakit? We can cancel out similar terms. Okay? We can cancel out similar terms like electron, 10, cancel. Ano pa? Ano pa mga pwede i-cancel? Yung water, pwede i-cancel. 5 yung water dito, 8. So, may matitirang 3 pag kinancel ko yung 5 water. Okay? Ano pa mga pwede i-cancel? Ito, H plus. May 5 H plus dito. Dito may 16. So, 16 minus 5 is 11. Okay? So, yan na-cancel ko na yung mga pwede i-cancel. No? Okay? So, the overall final equation is written as 11H plus 2MnO4 5Cl minus 2Mn2 plus 5HClO 3H2O. Yun na yun. Okay? So that is the overall balanced equation. Take note that this is the reduction and this is the oxidation reaction. Okay? So ganun lang. Ang dami, no? But again, step by step lang yan. Matagal talaga to i-solve. Even ako naman matagal ako mag-solve pero relatively mas mabilis, no? Pero yun. Pero siguro sa inyo, sa case niyo, siguro abutin kayo ng isang problem, mga 5 minutes, no? Ganun. Pero with practice, no, mas bibilis yan, okay? Kaya yan in 1 minute, no? Kaya ko yung tapusin in 1 minute, sadyang kailangan ko lang talaga ikwento lahat ng nangyayari. Okay? So, yan. Pero yan, kayang-kaya yan na mabilisan. Basta alam nyo kung ano yung mga steps. Okay? So, to summarize what we discussed today, dito muna tayo sa balancing. Again, you have the equations, split them into 2. Ito yun. Then, saka mo i-balance yung atoms nila. Yung oxygen, para ma-balance, you add water. Hydrogen, para ma-balance, you add H+. Same thing as this one. After that, you balance the charges. Coefficient charge, ipag-add mo yon, same as this one, and this one. Then, you add the electron to the side with the highest charge. Gano'ng karaming electron? Ang technique natin ay high charge minus low charge. No?
So ito 7 minus 2, 5. Ayan. So this is 1 minus negative 1. So 2. Ayun. Okay. Then, bago mo sila pagsamahin uli, you make sure that the electrons are equal. Get their LCM, the least common multiple. So that's basically 5 times 2 lang. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay. So this means it has this equation has to be multiplied by 2. This one has to be multiplied by 5 para 10 yung electrons. Then combine them, cancel similar terms. Okay? Yung water pwede ma-cancel pero may matitira sa other side. Yung H plus maka-cancel pero may matitira sa isang side, no? And you will have this final equation. Ano yung pwede kong i-share sa inyo na technique, no, para mas malaman ko kung tama yung ginawa ko? Ganito. Kapag may H plus ka sa left, dapat may water ka sa right. Yun yung technique dyan. Pag ako nakita ko na may ganyan yan, confident na ako na tama sagot ko. Okay? So kapag may H plus sa left, dapat sa right side yung OH, yung water. Hindi pwedeng nasa left side din yung water. Yun yung napapansin ko. Kasi ginagawa ko to since third year high school. 2013. Third year high school chemistry namin to eh. So yun. Hindi ako science high school, public high school lang ako nun. Pero ginagawa namin to dati. Kasi hindi pa K-12 yung curriculum. Yan. So sayang, no? Pero ganun ginagawa namin, no? So since then until now, yun yung na-observe ko. Kapag H plus nasa left, dapat nasa right water. Kapag nasa left yung water, dapat nasa right side yung H plus. Okay? So hindi pwedeng magkasabay sila parehas. Okay? Hindi pwede parehas sila nasa left. Baka nagkamali ka ng cancellation. Okay? So yun lang. And also, take note that kapag yung electron ay nasa left side sa isa, kailangan nasa right side sa isa. Hindi pwedeng parehas silang nasa left. Okay? Hindi pwedeng parehas nasa left yung electron. Hindi rin pwede parehas nasa right yung electron. Kailangan mag-adjust yung isa. Okay? So again, redox reaction to. Hindi siya red-red. Hindi rin siya ox-ox. No? Redox. Yung isa nasa left, yung isa nasa right. Okay? Kaya nga redox tawag sa kanya. Okay? So, we will continue this next meeting. Siguro wag na lang muna natin to i-prob set. May ibibigay na lang ako ng isa pang prob set, no? So, continue natin to next meeting. Sasagutan natin to. But, again, di na yan prob set, ha? Take note of that. So, continue natin tong dalawa next meeting para mas marami tayong example. But before tayo mag-proceed next meeting, kailangan sagutan nyo muna to in your free time, no? Sa Sabado, kailangan may sagot na kayo. Okay? Then we will discuss the basic equation. Instead of having H plus, we will have OH naman. And discuss natin yung next meeting. And then we will continue with the electrochemical cells, no? And yun. So that will be our kaganapan next meeting. Okay. So I have to cut this short kasi ako ay nagugutom na. Tsaka may class pa ako mamaya. Baka kasi pag di ako kumain ngayon 4:30 pa ako. Okay. So ayun lang. Again, I would like you to recall your polyatomic ions. So you can just simply Google them para malaman mo rin yung oxidation numbers nila. Okay? Dito na rin pala oxidation number. You can use this as reference. Okay? And ito yung ating just go to our canvas if you want to get a copy of the PowerPoint. Dito tayo sa module 3, chapter 3. Ito yung lesson natin. Ito yung table na gagamitin natin next meeting. And yung videos upload ko dyan. Okay? So by the way, don't forget to answer the problem set sa spontaneity and free energy. Again, end of SEM pa yung pasahan yan. But you can submit na kapag natapos nyo na. Okay? So we have to do these problem sets para may practice kayo for the finals. So nagdagdag ako ng problem, mahihirap to. Okay. So pero kaya yan. Nasa Google yan. Okay. Kasi sa Google ko lang kinuha yan eh. Pero ayan, mas maganda alamin nyo pa rin bakit ganun yung sagot. Ito yung discussion na pag hindi nyo pa napapanood, ayan. 1 hour lang yan kasi madali lang tong topic na to. Okay? Actually, kaya yan 30 minutes. Madaldal lang talaga ako. Okay? So, ayan. So, that will be all. I will see you again next Saturday. And again, take note that by Wednesday, siguro by Wednesday, Saturday next week, wala uli ako. Kasi finals week namin sa Lasal. Okay. Medyo iiyak muna ako. Ako naman muna maghihirap. Kayo kasi sa kapak ko kayo mag-exam eh. Okay. So, ganun na lang mangyayari sa atin. We will have asynchronous sessions by this time. Yan. So, asynchronous tayo muna dito kasi maghihirap muna ako sa Lasal. Okay? So, we will resume dito sa week na to. And then, magno-nuclear na tayo. One of my favorite then. And then, patapos na yung SEM. Okay? Malapit na matapos yung SEM. Okay? So, that will be all. And this copy with the video will be uploaded on YouTube for your reference then. Okay? So, thank you for attending. I'll see you again this Saturday. No? And stay safe lang parate. Okay? If you have questions, do not hesitate to ask me. Okay? So, yun lang. Ingat and bye-bye.